Greetings, everyone. Today we delve into a complex and crucial topic, bridging the gap, addressing the scarcity of pharmaceuticals in underserved community. Let's first begin by acknowledging the historical context. Throughout history, underserved communities have been subjected to and exploited by mainstream medical institutions, for example, the pharmaceutical industry. This dates all the way back to the Tuskegee syphilis trials, where Henrietta Lacks cells being used without her consent. The mistrust and unfortunate and cruel and unusual testing done on slaves throughout America's history has led to a current situation where African Americans participate in clinical trials and pharmaceutical therapeutics at a significantly lower margin than any other demographic within the United States. The current pharmaceutical landscape is such that when the COVID pandemic occurred, Black people disproportionately participated in COVID vaccine, participated far less in the COVID vaccine uh, immunizations. Minorities, this dates back to minorities having a tremendous lack of representation within the pharmaceutical sector when it comes to jobs, most particularly the commercial sector, which is made up of sales, marketing, client services, field reimbursement, market access, client retention, etc. Additionally, African Americans have a severe disadvantage when it comes to pharmaceuticals because disproportionately they participate in clinical trials and clinical research far less than any other marginalized people. My recommendations for this are start with a diversified hiring program and inclusive initiatives from a top-down approach. This can be in the form of college internships and recruiting, particularly at HBCUs. Additionally, I believe that pharmaceutical manufacturers need to invest into underserved communities, and the commercial sector representation needs to drastically improve and increase the African American population that's currently working within that particular segment of the industry. Additionally, I believe that if African Americans participated more in clinical trials, that it would help them understand or help them learn to trust the pharmaceutical industry again. And something else that the industry could do is research um, into into specific areas where diseases are more prevalent within African American communities, such as pancreatic cancer and sickle cell. Additionally, pharmaceutical manufacturers should work to establish programs to help ensure that African Americans not only have access to pharmaceuticals, but they also have the funding for them. The framework for this is based on Clark and Estes gap analysis and KML. Essentially, what we're going to do is examine the gaps within the pharmaceutical industry and how they compare to how they compare to other industries. What we can do to improve DEI, identify gaps within knowledge, motivation, and organizational effectiveness, and develop solutions to bridge those gaps. The key stakeholders for this, there's two different categories here. There's visible winners and invisible winners, but everybody wins all around. For the visible winners, I broke it down by executive leaders, commercial division, and the pharmaceutical industry. The invisible winners are the shareholders or the stockholders of the pharmaceutical manufacturers, because if done correctly, profits will increase. Underserved communities will benefit this from the financial investments being made into their communities. Historically marginalized people will benefit, and society as an entirety will benefit because we'll be creating an opportunity where everybody has the access and ability to lead a healthier life. Milestones, goals, and objectives are powered by the communication and the implementation. Projects of this magnitude need to be broken down into small bite-sized wins. These wins need to be communicated effectively to keep the momentum moving forward. We need to broadcast these wins so that everybody has an understanding of what's taking place and what they can do and how they can lean on their part to continue to promote the DEI and push the organizational forward. Another thing that needs to happen here is the influence of similarity. People tend to trust people who look like them. And because of that, we're seeing small percentages of African Americans joining the pharmaceutical industry. It's my belief that if we could change this perception at the ground up and make sure that African Americans trust the pharmaceutical industry and see people who look like them, more of them would be inclined to pursue jobs within that industry. And as we continue to implement these changes and new projects, the momentum will continue to build and more investments can be made. Excuse me. The challenges and required resources. The big obstacles here to overcome are money and personnel. Pharmaceutical manufacturers are for-profit organizations, so this needs to be looked at in terms of an investment rather than a cost center. This is the cost of acquiring new employees. And if you look at it in terms of how big the potential audience base is, each American spends roughly $1,200 a year on pharmaceuticals. Currently, the United States pharmaceutical manufacturers are missing out on approximately 30 million people. If they can convert just a small portion of that, their increased profit numbers would be well into the tens of billions of dollars. As the investment grows and the plan continues to be executed, profits will follow. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.